And welcome to Hannity. And tonight, under President Trump, the state of our union is strong and, well, sadly for liberals, it's getting stronger. Yet Democrats across the country have never been more miserable. They hate his free and fair trade negotiations. They can't stomach it. It's too hard. Why would we demand free and fair trade? They hate his efforts to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse. They hate Elon Musk. They hate that he is securing the southern border. You know, we allowed in terrorists, known terrorists, murderers, rapists, cartel members, gang members. Why would we want to keep them? Why wouldn't we want to keep them? They really seem to hate that the president is taking violent, criminal, illegal immigrants that Joe and Kamala Harris allowed into the country off the streets, booting them out of our country. They never should have been here. Now, coming up, Patty Moran will join us. You might recall her daughter, Rachel, a mother of 5, brutally killed on a Maryland hiking trail by an illegal immigrant from El Salvador who was just convicted of first-degree murder and first-degree rape. Sadly, you won't hear much about this horrific case from Democrats. They're too busy worrying about another illegal immigrant from El Salvador, a reported gang member, according to a judge, who recently was deported back to his home country. We'll have a lot more on the shameless hypocrisy in less than a minute. Also tonight, we will dive into the president's economic strategy with Dave Ramsey. And John Solomon has a new report tonight. That's right, involving New York Attorney General Letitia James. And in our other news of the day segment, out of work, well, frankly, nut job, Keith Olbermann is having another meltdown. What a shock. The angriest guy on social media, this time directed at Kristi Noem, Tom Homan, and also our video of the night, a special announcement from fake news CNN, according to Dana Bash. Fox News alert, they don't actually hate America. As always, we report, we'll let you decide. And by the way, after our monologue, we'll check in just a moment with Stephen A. Smith, who is going to tell you why he now feels compelled that he must consider a run for the presidency and to save the Democratic Party. This should be interesting. But let's be honest, the Democratic Party, they are in desperate need of a reboot. No doubt about that. This is a deeply broken, a deeply troubled party. Take a look at the topic of illegal immigration. Under Biden, Rachel Moran, Jocelyn Nungary, Laken Riley, and so many other women were murdered by illegals, and many others were raped, and others were victims of violent crimes. But Democrats showed little to zero compassion or interest in these cases. They didn't even bother to stand up during the president's joint address when he honored the mothers of 2 women that lost their lives to Harris-Biden illegals. And take a look at this post on X. Quote, when Rachel Moran, an actual Maryland mother, was killed by an illegal gang member, the only thing Chris Van Hollen did was give a statement to a news outlet. But when an illegal from El Salvador gets deported, he's ready to fly down to El Salvador to free his constituent. Think about that. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen wouldn't lift a finger to secure the southern border or even visit the southern border after a Maryland mother of 5 was raped and murdered on a Maryland hiking trail. But he's now up in arms because an illegal immigrant from El Salvador was deported back to his home country of El Salvador. Chris, you really serious about this? Because maybe he can move in with you. Take a look.
Well, I don't even know if we announced this, but I am planning tomorrow to go to El Salvador to work to bring him home. Thank you. Thank you.
I had heard that, but I didn't know that was public, so. Yes, yes.
We'll bring them all home. Bring all the illegals from El Salvador home. Doesn't matter if they're gang members or not. We'll find out how Rachel Moran's mother feels about this. This is insane. This is a party full of lunatics and who seem to value the comfort of an illegal immigrant over you, law-abiding, peaceful American citizens. And let's be very clear about something. This illegal immigrant in question is not a Maryland man. That is misinformation. That is fake news currently spreading like wildfire in the legacy media mob. According to the White House, this is a gang member who is most definitely not from Maryland, and he does not have a right to be in Maryland or anywhere else in this country. He is a citizen of El Salvador and is currently in his home country, thanks to Donald Trump and his administration. And now in other news, Barack Obama, he's busy with another cause. He's now rushing to the defense of Harvard University. Obama's very deeply troubled that Harvard may not receive their usual multi-billion-dollar payout with your money from the federal government after rejecting Donald Trump's federal mandate that requires universities to eliminate DEI, reject anti-Semitism on college campuses. The administration froze $2.2 billion in your tax dollars. So my question tonight, why is Harvard receiving any of your hard-earned tax dollars when we have $37 trillion in debt? You know, the school has the largest institutional endowment in the country. They have a whopping $53 billion stashed away. It costs nearly $80,000 a year to attend this private, prestigious university. So why is the federal government giving them a penny? And with bullets flying in Obama's hometown of Chicago, why is this his cause celeb? Why is this so important to him? This is a party of woke elites for woke elites. Now, they're simply not concerned with serious issues that impact most Americans. That is why their approval numbers are lower than they've ever been. Even in the deep blue state of California, Kamala Harris is now struggling to get political traction ahead of a possible run for governor. And meanwhile, breaking tonight, more troubling news for Democrats. According to a report from John Solomon and other news sources, the left's one-time big savior is in legal trouble. The left's one-time, the head of legal trouble. Anyway, a criminal referral has been issued from the Federal Housing Finance Agency and has been filed against New York Attorney General Letitia James. Now, based on this reporting, James is accused of falsifying records to receive more favorable loan terms. John Solomon will have a full report coming up later in the show. And tonight, the bad news for Democrats does not stop there. After enjoying quite a bit of rest and relaxation after leaving office, Joe Biden is out of hibernation, and he's speaking in public. Let's just say that today's speech did not go very well. Take a look.
It's about dignity, simple dignity. Everyone deserves to be treated with dignity, regardless of their standing, regardless of their economic situation, regardless of who they are. Fewer than 100 days, this new administration has made done so much damage and so much destruction. It's kind of breathtaking it could happen that soon. They've taken a hatchet to the Social Security Administration, pushing an additional 7,000 employees, 7,000 out the door in that time. We can't go on like this as a divided nation, as divided as we are. Like I said, I've been doing this a long time. It's never been this divided. Granted, it's roughly 30%, but it's a 30% that has no heart.
I'm serious. I'm serious. He's back. Low energy Joe. Anyway, Sleepy Joe. At one point, Joe actually referred to African Americans, well, using this term. Take a look.
And I had never seen hardly any black people in Scranton at the time I was only going in fourth grade. And I remember seeing the kids going by at the time called colored kids on a bus going by.
All right, the Democratic Party's not in a good place. That's the same guy, by the way, that partnered with the former Klansmen for the very purpose of stopping the integration of public schools and busing. Kamala Harris even one time called them out on it. But for some reason, they're totally opposed to any new leadership. For example, a recent poll showing our friend Stephen A. Smith, who will join us in a second, with little chance of winning a Democratic primary in 2028. I am far more suspicious of this poll than probably most people, but the message, I will tell you, is clear. If you don't toe that radical left-wing, hardcore line Democrats, in the end, they will try to utterly destroy anybody if they jump into this race. They will be the people that decide who the candidates are going to be. And Stephen A. Smith, over the weekend, said that he has no choice but to have to leave open the door and consider a possible run. Take a look.
Elizabeth Warren was just on with you. You're going to have a multitude of Democratic representatives on with you. They talk and they talk and they talk, but what can they do? They position themselves to do absolutely nothing. They talked about everything from woke culture to cancer culture to abortion rights and all of this other stuff, but that wasn't going to win the election. And that's what we have to look at. What is it going to take to get the job done? That's why somebody who's a sports analyst, for crying out loud, is in the daggone polls.
Are you really thinking about running for president? Is this something you think?
Listen, I've been. I have no choice because I've had elected officials, and I'm not going to give their names, elected officials coming up to me. I've had folks who are pundits come up to me. I've had folks that got a lot of money, billionaires and others, that have talked to me about exploratory committees and things of that nature. I'm not a politician. I've never had a desire to be a politician.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.